Greetings. Are you ready to learn a lot of yoga? You could spend a year on this talk. So let's get into it. But the nutshell is this: attraction. Do you feel attracted to God? That's the key. Being attracted. People used to visit Sri Ramakrishna at his beautiful temple where he lived in Dakshineswar temple near Calcutta. And I've been blessed to be there. It's a beautiful temple, inspiring, uplifting, soul-stirring, beautiful place. Anyway, people would bring their friends and there'd be a group of them having a nice social day or wanting to see a saint, a great spiritual being. Well, some folks wanted to see the spiritual being and just sit in the presence, the light of Sri Ramakrishna. And others said, we'll wait for you down by the Ghat, G-H-A-T. That's where the boats are tied in on the Ganges River. We'll wait for you down. They didn't want to be there with a holy man. We'll wait. Yeah, take your time, but we'd rather look at the water and the boats, or we're scared to be here, whatever the answer would be. Anyway, it's quite interesting. You have a chance to be with a great spiritual being who has tremendous power to bless and uplift. And some people are so attracted to it. They just yearn for it and love it. And others, get me out of here. So some are attracted, some are not on the yoga path. I told Baba Haridas way back in 1971, I just didn't want to leave you. And he said, I didn't want to leave. He didn't speak, he wrote all his comments. So he wrote me a letter saying, well, I didn't want you to go either. So there's this attraction that happens when you are spiritually conscious. So let's talk about it. I'm going to take quite a road, however, to this point, and so I want to make it clear to you. Attraction is the theme. Attraction is a necessary and wonderful ingredient on the path, and people ignore it a lot. So we're going to end up there, but we're also going to show various ways that you can help this attraction occur. There are all kinds of wonderful ways that you can prepare for a beautiful attraction and a powerful relationship with the divine. Here we go. Yoga, this harmony of body, mind, and spirit, and harmony between yourself and the infinite spirit. That's what we define yoga as. Yoga happens only when attraction has occurred. Somewhere along the way, you get very eager to be with God and to practice yoga, and then you enter into a state of yoga. But attraction, that's the factor. So as long as you bear that in mind, you'll travel through this yoga, what should we say, encyclopedia, a small encyclopedia. You'll travel through it well. We're going to end up aware we have attraction, or that we need attraction. We need to develop it. Okay. So some of you will say you've been attracted since you were born. Some of you will say, I'm just not attracted. I don't know why. So we go. The yoga perspective, and it's a common perspective, it's not a rare thing at all. You already have the gold. Just wash the mud off of it. There it is. You already have a spirit or a soul within you Got to get rid of the thoughts and feelings that say otherwise. Got to wash the mud of thoughts and feelings away. There it will be. Spiritual awareness and an awakened, illuminated spiritual life. We're not trying to go and get gold from Mount Everest. We don't have to do that. We have to wash the mud away. And we'll find the gold within us here, right where you are right now. People forget that. They make yoga something they have to achieve, and it'll be hard, and it'll be tough, but I have to be relentless, you know. Wrong attitude. That's an ego attitude of the false self rather than an understanding of spiritual dynamics. All right, so you're already a soul expressing through mind and body, perhaps in a state of ignorance of spirit. Most people are ignorant of spirit. But you're already a soul, and spirit surrounds you and fills you and gives you consciousness and life, actually. If you don't know about the spiritual part, just think of the life moving within your being. In the view of yoga, that's spirit moving and acting, giving you a heartbeat and a breath. So, yoga practice involves letting go of the false sense of self and the ignorance of spirit, washing the clay away. Then comes the realization of your soul and spirit. Sri Ramakrishna felt that we talk too much about sin, and maybe today he'd say, not enough. Anyway, yes, he said, think of yourself as a sinner in the beginning of the spiritual path. But if you're going to focus on sin all your life, and just notice what a sinner you are, and just be preoccupied by sin, that's mud that keeps you from experiencing the inner gold of soul and spirit. And theologians would agree with this, those who have studied the purgative way, the virtuous way, the illuminative way. Well, that's a different talk. But think of yourself as a sinner in the beginning and identify your sin and humble yourself. But you'll soon recognize, as you progress, you'll recognize you're a spiritual being. And you want to think about good and love and light and have them move and express in your thoughts and your feelings and your actions. You don't want to be always thinking, I'm this rotten worm sinner type, leading a bleak existence until I get rescued, perhaps when I die, you know. Or I get rescued by accepting Jesus into my life, but I'm going to keep thinking about sin all the time. What a pitiful understanding. I went to church, and the first 50 minutes of the sermon were mainly about, you're such a sinner. Last 10 minutes was, oh, things are really wonderful because of Jesus. But you go through the 50 minutes or an hour and a half of the sin part. Then from downstairs in the church, the smell of coffee comes, and you know that soon people will be drinking coffee, and the smell of coffee signified, we got through. We got through this. But a lot of people love to hear about sin. It helps them to feel better with God. So I'd just like to make the point that Sri Ramakrishna, this great avatar, said, yes, think about sin in the beginning, but get so you're thinking about God and love and light and spirit mainly. The more you're preoccupied by sin, this is Ramakrishna saying, the more you're preoccupied by sin, the more you will sin, and you will live in guilt, and you'll have a bleak existence. You want to transition to preoccupied by spirit, by spirit's qualities, by spirit's inspirations, not sin. But then as a result of my yoga practice, I find no problem in facing and confessing sin? Because there are so many blessings that come when you confess your sins. You just open your life to living better. So I'd like to say there's nothing wrong with confessing sin. There's something wrong with being preoccupied by sin. And so many people who get on the sin journey never get off. I know of people in my life, very devout people, but they're always thinking they're sinners all the time. Enough said. I can see we could get into a big discussion here. My view is that as soon as you experience yoga, you're shedding the mud, the debris, what's in the way, and more experiencing the reality and the truth of spirit, and that you're a spiritual being and meant to express spirituality, spiritual love and light. But I certainly agree with Ramakrishna's focus. Who am I to disagree? He came to share the facts of life. So we want to get to a spiritual focus rather than a sin focus. We want to get to the gold focus rather than the mud focus. Is your perspective at present that you are fundamentally spiritual? Most people have the idea, I am my mind, I'm my thoughts, or I'm my personality, or I'm my feelings. Do you sense deep within your being love and light, ongoing? And in your mind, is there peace? Regularly you have peace? Or do you have trouble that bothers your sleep and that bothers you sitting in a chair relaxing? Do you have troubles inside? You know, as a result of getting the tension out of the body, the turbulence out of the mind and heart, you enter a state of peace. And peace is a way to get to know spirit, love, light, ever new joy, the presence of God. We want to, in yoga, have experience of spirit. Yoga is a set of experiences. Yoga is a state in which you are aware that you are living in harmony of body, mind, and spirit, and that there is a wonderful harmony and relationship between you and your Creator, the infinite spirit. Ramakrishna said that experiencing God is more valuable and more important than reading all the theological books in the world or the universe, if there are other writings out there somewhere. Experience is more valuable and important than being an expert, a doctor of theology in all the scriptures. The experience is more important. We need experience, spiritual experience. That's why we've come here in a body, in the view of yoga. We're here to have spiritual realization. So, we're going to have a number of reflections that help us toward experiences, spiritual experiences. So rather than thinking I am a goofy person, or I am a failure, or I'm a loser, or I'm a boss, I'm a success, I'm rich, or I am handsome, or I'm beautiful, and you may be. The spiritual perspective is, or especially, I'm a sinner. If your perspective is along those lines, work toward, in your attitude and in your understanding of yoga, in your quest, reflect on, I'm a spiritual being. Shall we just pause after each of these? Because we want to be more tuned into these spiritual perspectives. I'm a spiritual being. I live in a world made of spirit. I live in a universe created by spirit. My body, heart, and mind are vehicles of spirit. My fellow seekers and all human beings, whether they know it or not, are spiritual beings. My life is an interplay with spirit. The goal and purpose of life is spiritual realization and spiritual manifestation. You could start out each day, put these on a card and put them by your mirror, maybe when you're shaving or something, or putting on makeup, whatever you do to that mirror. Sri Ramakrishna urged seekers to see life spiritually and live life spiritually and be open to this as a possibility. Okay. So we've covered a lot so far. Are you ready to go farther still? Let's do some practices. I'll talk about a practice. You may like it, in which case just do it a lot. Do it every day until you have the benefit of it. So the first practice is dealing with getting rid of the thoughts and feelings and the debris, just having a way of letting go of them, sending them off. And so it's called the cloud. Think of your ego, your sense of self, your thoughts and your feelings, including your wounds, psychological wounds and worries and preoccupations. Just all of that is blocking the soul, keeping you from knowing your soul. So think of all of that as a cloud. You're clouded by thoughts, feelings, anger, fear, on and on. It's all a cloud. And just sitting calmly, you watch this cloud roll by, this cloud of thoughts leaving you, clear and well and whole, just letting go, sending off the cloud of spiritual ignorance, of worry, of stress, of anxiety. Just all of that is a cloud, and you just picture that you are serenely watching this cloud of debris roll past you and out over the landscape and out over the ocean, just floating away. And as it goes, you can just raise your hand and wave it goodbye. And just enjoy this image and what it's doing. Just cloud goes by, wave goodbye. It's the old ego, the old worries, the old habits. Cloud rolling by. Gone out to the land and gone beyond the land to the sea. Farewell. The cloud vanishes out there. The cloud vanishes. And enjoy this person who is sitting here, having watched the cloud go by. Just enjoy being. Very good. That's our first practice, a beautiful yoga practice. Just enjoy the sense of freedom. That's the first practice. How many have I got? I've got several, I think. So we'll try one more, then we'll take a little break, okay? This is an understanding in yoga that our spirituality is asleep. It's like the best part of us is drowsing, sleeping at the base of the spine, actually, in the tailbone area. So, quoting Swami Lokeshwarananda, we're already divine, but that divinity is sleeping in us. When that sleep is ended, our divinity will be manifest. That is the goal in life for every one of us, in the opinion of yoga. So, right now, I'm not going to tap my tailbone because I don't want to adjust the camera, so you can watch me tap my tailbone. But when you do the practice, tap your tailbone area with the idea, wake up, wake up. So you're going to start with that on your own practice, but we're going to just start tapping in the center of our chest, asking the spirit within us to wake up. Just tapping and saying, wake up, wake up, wake up. Because this will get higher energies moving, spiritual energies moving. So you tap the center of your chest, wake up, wake up, wake up. Then you tap your forehead. It's called the third eye or the spiritual eye. Lower central forehead, tap it with one finger or all three, whatever you can fit there on your forehead. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up. Just lightly, not to hurt yourself at all, just tapping, stimulating. Wake up, wake up, wake up. And then the crown. Tap the crown, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. And then you just sit calmly and allow spiritual energy to respond to the tapping and the call to wake up. Just enjoy whatever awareness you have. Don't be judging it, just allow the energy or the feeling, hopefully a good feeling, to move. This helps to find the gold and let go of the mud. And for now, let's just come back, bring our awareness down from our crown area, crown chakra it's called, meaning center of consciousness. Coming down over your face and head, all the way down through your neck, shoulders, arms to the fingertips, down the spine from the shoulders all the way, slowly, steadily to the hips and down the thighs, calves, arches, toes, down thoroughly, and just feel the downward direction. You want to do this after any high meditation to bring the energy back to the body and function better and fresher in the body. All right, let's take that break, and we've got several more.